We're looking at a yuki, which is a bark canoe. It's 13 foot long. It's made from a red gum tree, and the bark has a nice curved shape. It's about an inch and a half thick.
And it's here in the main corner, but it's got quite a history before it actually arrived here, and you've had an integral part of that involvement. Can you take us through a bit of the story of this yuki?
Okay, in 2009, Major Sumner and Narangiri Elder had a conversation about wanting to make a canoe. 12 months later, 2010, we were in the paddock with some students from Millicent High School, our Aboriginal community members with a focus group, making a canoe. So, yeah, it was fantastic. The canoe was taken off the tree over 6 hours, and then it was put in the shed over some fire and dried for up to 3 months. The canoe was first floated at Lake Leak, and then it actually went up to Adelaide and floated on the Torrens River and was on display as part of a Country Arts SA exhibition.
How did everyone react when they saw the finished yuki?
Everybody was absolutely they were fascinated by it, really proud. People involved, the youth involved, and even the support staff involved. The school, every time we see the canoe, it's just a huge level of excitement.
Take us through some of the detail that is on the canoe. What's this bit here at the front? It looks like some kind of singed trunk or something.
Yeah, what you can see up the front of the canoe, which is the narrow end, is what's left over from a clay pad that was put in the canoe when it went to Sydney and floated on the harbour. The canoes that were put on the harbour all had fire put in them in the evening when they float on the harbour at night time, so you can actually just see the circular outline which shows where the clay pad was. As you move to the back of the canoe, there's a bit of lacing over the back, and that's to fix a split in the canoe when it was made. So it was dried out and laced up and put a bit of clay and some resin in the actual gap to fix it.
Sort of looks like it's on purpose and kind of decorative.
Yeah, no, it's not where the outboard goes. It's kind of split, it's kind of dried out a little bit with it being moved, so it might need to be fixed again before it goes in the water. In the canoe's the actual paddle, and if you notice it's got 3 prongs on the end of it. Now that's it's a paddle, but also, you know, as people are going down the river, if they see a fish, they'll spear that and pull it in the boat and cook it up on the pad at the front as they're going along. So yeah, it's a multi-purpose. Traditionally, there was a clay pad in the canoes that they had coals burning, and they'd cook the fish while they're out there moving along.
What's the process in terms of getting the bark so firm?
Oh, that was mainly in the drying process. Eucalypts respond to smoke, so the actual fire that it was dried on was really smoky, and that helped to trigger the sap inside, I guess, to make it nice and hard. You can also see the actual inside of the bark has a bit of a reddish colour to it, and that's because it's been covered in ochre as a bit of a process to heal. We've read that traditionally the canoes were covered in animal fats and clay to help them last, being in and out of the water for more than just 1 or 2 times.
Would you predict that this will last a long time?
Well, seeing the canoes only been in the water probably 6 times, all of for about 10 minutes each time, I'd imagine it would be. Some of the records show that some of these canoes probably only lasted up to 12 months if they were in the water on a continual basis.
And this yuki has now returned back to Mount Gambier. What was that journey like?
Well, the canoes actually, the yuki, it's been on tour for 2 years since it went up to Adelaide. Floated on the Torrens, it's floated on Lake McIntyre, the Valley Lake, down at Goolwa, and also it got across to Sydney Harbour for a conference over there. Part of the last 2 years it's been travelling the state, visiting regional centres as part of a Country Arts SA exhibition.
Now, this is a modern recreation of something that used to be a massive part of Aboriginal culture. Can you talk to us a little bit about how they were used?
From what I've been told, the canoes around the southeast for hunting and gathering food, used for transport. On the DVD it talks about the canoes potentially were used to travel from Naracoorte across to Kingston when the water were right, so pretty significant piece of machinery.
Machinery?
Well, there's an art and skill, and it is a vessel, so somebody has to stand on it and actually push it through the water. The actual making process for people to be able to get up a tree and remove a bit of bark this size is taking some form of, some level of planning and skill.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's about 3 metres long and just under a metre wide. Was the bark peeled off the trunk, so to speak?
Yes, the outline of the canoe was drawn on the tree, and then it was cut around, and it was a process of Major and Cyril Trevorrow, who's a Ngarrindjeri man as well, literally peeling the bark off nice and slow so they didn't split it, and then lowering it down the tree.
It's also quite heavy too, but I think it used to be heavier, didn't it?
Yeah, when it first came off the tree, there were, in the video, in the DVD, there's 6 people lifting it onto the fire, so now it can be lifted with 2 people, so it's dried out quite considerably.
Have the Aboriginal youth been involved in this?
The whole project was delivered with an organisation called Change Media, and they provided multimedia training to students from Millicent High School, some students from Murray Bridge, and a few other Aboriginal community youth. They learned how to use videos, how to tell stories using multimedia, but at the same time they were learning the cultural side of things from Major. So the two worked quite well. You know, the southeast is Bowendick country, so the Ngarrindjeri elders come down and showed us how to make the canoe. But our focus group is made up of representatives from all of the southeast, so the actual Yuki's owned by the community and is available to get out and around the region to promote culture. We need to get it up to Naracoorte with the Naracoorte primary schools and show them how it floats on the swimming lake there.